me, Dana from Waitlist.Hogwarts, and today I am doing the first video for my Fantasy Frenzy event, and that is a review of The Falling by T. Damon. So I just recently finished this book and I have a whole review all prepped and ready for you guys, so I'm just going to jump right in because I have a lot of thoughts about this book. This is a non-spoiler review, so if you have not yet read it, you can still watch this review and there will be no spoilers, just FYI. To start, The Falling follows a group of friends who have to go on a journey to save the forest that they live in because there is a darkness that is corrupting all the inhabitants of the forest, so they go save their home, basically, is what this is. We follow Dorina and Nixon, who are siblings, and they are both nymphs, and then we also follow Kellan, who is the son of a general, who is also a nymph, and then we follow Hawthorne, who is a salamander and one of the last of his species. So the four of them journey to go save the forest. It's a young adult novel that almost reads like a middle grade because of how whimsical it is in nature. So I would definitely recommend it to younger people who are maybe trying to transition into young adult and trying to take that leap, or if you're an adult who just likes middle grade for its whimsicality, I would definitely recommend this book. The only part where it could get maybe a little bit complicated is in the political climate and the politics behind the whole plot. I do feel like T. Damon did a great job setting the stage for the political climate and the world building and making it easy for readers to understand, so hopefully they should be able to handle it. This book is also very dialogue heavy, which makes it good for young readers because it keeps the pace rather quick. Speaking of pacing, I did have some consistency. Well, I cannot say consistency. Speaking of pacing, I did have some consistency issues with it. For one, the beginning and the end, like the introduction and the resolution, happened so quickly. Like the introduction, I think, happened within the first 15 pages, and while this is a very short book, I feel like it would have benefited from a longer page count and having a longer, more drawn-out introduction, as well as the ending. I feel like things really happened rather quickly there, and I would have liked to see that drawn out a bit more, whereas the middle was very drawn out. So I feel like if we'd had that same consistency, the book would have benefited overall, instead of having it like really quick and then kind of slow and then really quick. It did make it really hard to tell time. I'm not really sure whether the duration of this book happened over a week or over a month or over a few days. Like, it was just very vague to me, so I feel like a clearer pacing for this would have helped me gauge the time a bit better, because I genuinely have no idea how long the time period was that this book went over. On the other hand, I loved the world building so much. T. Damon did a great job describing the settings and using colors to describe the settings, and I just had a very vivid image of what this forest looked like, which for me is very important because I paint pictures in my head. So I really appreciated that. I feel like it did lose some fluidity in between the heavy dialogue and then the setting descriptions, but there were some parts that were really good, and that only happened a few times, so it wasn't a big worry point for me. I also wish we'd gotten to see more inside of the characters' heads, because I feel like most of the emotions that I got from the other characters of like understanding how they felt were because they were communicating it in dialogue to other characters instead of me as a reader reading it and being like, oh, I'm inside their head. So I wish I'd gotten to see a bit more inside their head. I think that also would have helped the fluidity of like setting and dialogue. I feel like I would have felt a stronger connection as a reader to the characters, but I still really like the characters, and I'm going to talk about them in a second, and it's going to be so great. I did really love the characters, but I do wish I had a stronger connection to them through like more inside their headness, I guess. I don't really know, that's not really a word. So now on to the characters. I really want to talk about two specifically, but I'll shout out the other two too. Dorina and Kellan, we gotta talk about these characters. I love Dorina as a female protagonist. I thought she was super badass and wonderful and smart and independent and just fantastic, basically. You could already tell from the beginning when you find out her occupation in the nymph world. Like, most female nymphs apparently were supposed to be kind of like caretakers at the home, you know, like the cooking and the cleaning and whatever, and she was like, no way, peace out, I'm gonna be a scientific researcher in the forest. So I was already like, yes, Dorina, I love that. It just showed that she was strong-willed and independent, and she was willing to step outside of those gender roles because she didn't care. She just wanted to do what she was passionate about, which will lead me to another point of just how passionate she is about things, which is also so great. She's so passionate about the things that she loves. It's fantastic. Like, when she gets passionate about something, she reads all these books on it. She's very well read, so she educates herself on the things that she most enjoys, which I really think is a very good indicator of a strong female character, or just a strong character in general. Like, she wants to learn about things. She wants to educate herself on the things that she liked. So I really appreciated that. There were several points in the book that just proved she was a force to be reckoned with. Like, you do not want to be on her bad side. She's very loyal to her friends, so you want to be her friend and you don't want to get on her bad side, because she is literally a force. It's crazy. That being said, she definitely had character flaws. I'm not trying to make her out as like this perfect badass person. There were definitely character flaws that I don't want to get too in-depth into just because I don't want to spoil anything, but if you read, which you should, you will find out what her character flaws are, and it shows just how like balanced of a character she is. I also want to talk about the male protagonist, Kellan. I really enjoyed reading about Kellan. I loved his character. He kind of reminded me of Matthias in Six of Crows, and because I just finished those audiobooks, I was super down with that, and I was like, give me more Matthias, but through Kellan. So I was just really loving the Matthias vibes from him. Like, at first I felt like he was kind of entitled and had like a minor inferiority complex, but that totally changed later in the game. Not necessarily him, but just like my perspective of him changed. As the book progressed, he displayed a lot of qualities that were very complementary to Narina's character, which makes sense because he was supposed to be the love interest for her. He was always extremely supportive of her following her interests and supportive of her being an independent female, which I really appreciated. Again, I appreciated a lot of things about these characters. I just really liked that he wasn't trying to control her every move and trying to tell her that she was out of her place and she should have been doing other stuff. He was like, no, like, you're good at what you do. You're very passionate about that. Like, you go for it. And I was really down with that quality about him. I thought that was great. I just really liked the way he showed that he cared about her. Like, he didn't have that overprotective YA quality that generally comes along with the male love interests. He was protective of her, but he was also like, I know you can handle this. So his protective of her was more like, I've got your back, I'm here, I know you can handle this, but I'll be here like just in case, and we'll work through this together. Again, like, very much supporting the independence and supporting her and not trying to be overprotective and controlling of what she does. So again, I just really appreciated that. Overall, I really liked this pairing. I felt like they really complement each other. It was a very great love interest for the main female protagonist, but I did feel like it happened rather fast. It wasn't like it was an insta-love situation, but it was more like we were dropped in the middle and expected to just catch on and read to the end, and there weren't that many instances of the romance in here, which is a good thing, except for that when everything happened, it seemed like it was kind of drastic. So I would have appreciated a bit more leading up to it. Maybe we could get that in like a prequel or something so we can read that and see the beginning of the relationship. I would really like that, T. Damon. Please, can we have a prequel for this? I would also like to mention that although romance is a component of this book, the parts that are in here are not that large, and it is also primarily focused on the emotional side to relationships, which is another reason why I feel like it's good for young readers to read. So yeah, although it happened very fast, I do feel like it is a good depiction of a healthy relationship, so that's always a good thing to have. Really quickly, I want to just talk about how much I appreciated Nixon's character, again, who is Narina's brother. There were a lot of qualities about his character that I really liked. He was kind of known for being nerdy and stuff, but what I really appreciate about his character is that he suffered from these migraine type headaches throughout the entire book, which, from coming from someone who gets migraines, I didn't realize how much I wanted to read a character who suffers from migraines until I actually read one. Like, again, his aren't exactly migraines, but they're basically that level of a headache. And I just thought that was very unique. I've never actually read a character who has migraines, and it's very common. So I was like, yes, it is very common, and it would probably happen to more than just humans. So of course one of them would have migraines. So I just very much appreciate that side of his character. I thought that was very unique. Another shout out to Nixon and Narina. I really like their sibling dynamic. As someone who has three other siblings who I am very close with, I really appreciated a close sibling dynamic in this book, and I feel like it should be included in more YA novels, so that was also very greatly appreciated as well. That's about it for my non-spoiler review for The Falling. I have a lot of spoilery thoughts if you can see my tabs or so. I do have a lot of them, but I'm not going to get to those today. But I'm sorry this was so rambly. I kind of just like spewed out all my thoughts, and I tried to organize it the best I could, but I don't really think that went as planned. But we're just gonna go with it because I want to get this out. So anyways, that is about it for my thoughts on this book. I really did enjoy this book. I think I gave it like a 3.25 out of 5 stars, just because I feel like there were things that it could have built off of, and there was a lot of potential that wasn't necessarily reached, but I did really enjoy the characters, and again, I do think this is a really great book for young readers trying to go into YA or just people who really like middle grade novels and whimsical novels. So if that is you, you should definitely go check this book out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have read this or you're interested in reading it or you have any thoughts about this book, leave them in the comments down below. And if you are not yet subscribed to me but you would like to be, go ahead and click the subscribe button and click the bell notification button to be notified for when I post new videos. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon with another video soon. Bye!